way, after all of this blood that we have lost as Egyptians, that we will accept anyone from the old regime.
Hello and welcome to Press TV's special coverage of the run-up to Egypt's first presidential elections after the fall of Hosni Mubarak, to be held on May 23rd and on May 24th, with a runoff scheduled for June 16 and June 17th, which means it's only 15 days to go for this historic vote for the most populous Arab country. Now, in this segment, we're going to look at the day's most important news on the elections. That includes the candidates and their platforms in their hopes to become the next president of Egypt. But first, let's take a look at some of the facts behind these historic elections to be held in Egypt, including some of the candidates, of which we're going to zoom in on 6 of them. Right now, we're looking at some of the facts behind this. The first presidential election since the downfall of Mubarak. To be exact, actually, it's the second elections ever. Of course, the first 2 are said to be in favor of Hosni Mubarak. Out of the list of 23 candidates, which initially submitted their names, 10 are the ones that have been at this point the main contenders. 6 main candidates are the front runners. Looking at Amr Moussa in this case, in which he is said to be a remnant of the former regime. Some of the criticisms behind him. The other one, we're looking at Abdelmonem Abul Futu. He is an independent candidate, which after declaring his candidacy, he was dropped by the Muslim Brotherhood for being breaking one of the promises behind the Muslim Brotherhoods for not presenting a candidate to run. So he's running as an independent after declaring his candidacy, dropped by the MB. We're going to discuss, of course, different details behind the candidacies of each of these candidates of the platforms that they had launched. Moving on to the next candidates, of course, you're looking at Abdelmonem Abul Futu, one of the front runners, in which both Amr Moussa and he are said to be in the lead. Here we have Ahmad Shafiq. He's a former Air Force Marshal. He's also an independent candidate. And as an Air Force Marshal, being a former Air Force Marshal, he is said to be on good terms with SCAF, which is the ruling military council. So we'll see what kind of ties with the SCAF in terms of what it means for his candidacy, and of course what Egyptians think of that, of which most obviously do not want any former remnants of a Mubarak regime to be their next president. Looking at the next candidate, Mohamed Morsi is the replacement for the eliminated Khairat al-Shatter. He's the Muslim Brotherhood candidate. He's the chairman of the Freedom of Justice Party. And as opposed to some of the polls, it is said that he is actually the front runner. Again, the different facts behind each of these candidates, such as the lead, is to be discussed shortly with some of the analysts that we're going to have coming up in this program. Next candidate, we have Hamdeen Sabahi. Hamdeen Sabahi is a leader of a party by the name of Nasserist Dignity Party. And what he is known for, let's go back in history a little bit. He was against peace with Israel when Anwar Sadat was in power. And in turn, he also was against the Camp David peace agreement that was signed with Israel. So that is one of the platforms that he is advocating. And not to mention that Amr Moussa has also said that. Remains to be seen whether these pledges during their election campaign is something that these candidates will actually hold if and when they are to become president. And the next candidate, we have Muhammad Salim Al-Awa, an independent candidate. He is ex-Secretary General of the International Union of Muslim Scholars. Now, he is said to be one of the few Islamic thinkers, according to some, that's defining what Islamism would mean in a modern society. That's one of the things that some of the candidates are advocating, a balance between the Islamic state, but in a modern society. Of course, we have to wait and see if that's going to translate into votes. But that was a brief look at the 6 major candidates.